Oh, and good morning, MYM Insiders. How y'all doing today? This is Rich Harshaw, and we're here for what are we here for? Our Innovation Hour webinar, and we're going to go through an exercise called Rapid Fire Innovation. This is something that we do usually once, maybe twice a year during our Innovation Hour webinars, and it's a pretty simple process. I put a list of innovations on the screen. We review those for a moment, and then I'll go to an industry and we'll use those innovation formulas to come up with some innovations for that particular industry. The idea here is not to be comprehensive. It's not to say here are the only innovations or even necessarily the best innovations for this industry, but the idea is to go through, as the screen says, in rapid fire fashion so we can get as many different innovations in as possible. Okay, let me make one quick adjustment here. We should be good to go. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go to the list. Okay, here's the list. This is the list of innovation formulas that we use at MYM. If you come through our 4-day training course in Dallas, we go into a lot of detail on this and give you several examples of each of these. But by way of just quick review, preview, discussion, let's go through these for just a moment so that you've got an idea of how these work. These are not necessarily all the innovation formulas, but you know, the way that this works is real simple. Several years ago, as I was teaching marketing and innovation and things like that, we used to just tell people to innovate, find things that people would want to, you know, have associated with your business, things that you could do, and we didn't really have any formulas. And I read a book one time, and it was called, I think it was called Blue Ocean Strategy. I think it was called Blue Ocean Strategy. Can't remember for sure. This has been several years ago. Red Ocean Strategy. Anyway, in the book it talked about the difference between Red Ocean and Blue Ocean Strategy, and the idea was that Red Ocean Strategy meant that all the blood was in the water in certain parts of the ocean, in the metaphor, because all of the competitors were there fighting against each other using the same kinds of things and the same types of business models, and there was so much competition that it was quote unquote bloody. It was red ocean. And the book, the whole premise was you need to move out of the red ocean where all the competition and fighting and blood is flowing over here to blue ocean where you're the only one who is competing and you're doing things on a different level. And the idea of the book was you need to innovate. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting concept. Do stuff different. I don't think we really need a book to tell us do stuff different. What we need a book to tell us is how to do stuff different. And in the book, it had all of the usual expected kinds of examples. Southwest Airlines is the fun, low-fare airline, and let's examine that for a whole chapter. Look, they do things different. They are the fun airline. Here's all the things that they do are fun, and here's all the things that they do to allow them to be low cost. And look at their stupid competitors over here, all in this red ocean strategy, beating each other up. Meanwhile, Southwest is over here in blue ocean. And I read that and I thought, okay, this is, it's not that it's bad information, it's that it's really not very easy for a typical company of random industry to sit down, read that story, and know what to do with it. What are you supposed to do with that if you own the local donut shop? Or if you're a home improvement contractor, or if you're a dentist, or if you're a whatever. And I thought, this is really an interesting scenario. This was a very highly rated book on the bestseller list, all that kind of stuff. And I thought, if this is the best we can do for innovation, then we're missing something here. So I sat down and I started to catalog different ways that I would innovate when I was working with clients, and the resulting list are some of those things that we do. So what we want to do as we go through rapid fire innovation is you want to not necessarily look for things that are applicable to your business. In other words, we don't want to look at a given tactic for a given industry as we go through these industries here in just a minute. What you want to do is just sort of keep an open mind and think about your business in the context of these different strategies, these different ideas, these different thought processes. And what you're really trying to do on this webinar is just simply be inspired. That's it. Just simply be inspired. And it's best if you're inspired while you're taking notes and you can capture ideas, and don't even necessarily worry about how practical they are as much as just getting them captured. You can always evaluate later. It's a horrible time to edit while you're capturing ideas. It's always better to go back and edit those ideas later. So here's the strategies. We've got the magic wand. The magic wand, very simply put, is asking this question. If you could put a magic wand in your customer's hands and they could get whatever they wanted out of your business, or more specifically out of your industry, what would it be? And this is the most broad-based, general innovation question that exists. It's the magic wand. That's why we put it number one. And the other ones under that are not necessarily in any particular order, but that one is the most important one. It's really a good question to get you started. What is it that people hate about your industry? What would they do different if they had a magic wand? Okay. The next one is the bookmobile. Are there things that you could bring to your customers that they normally do not have brought to them? The bookmobile is a nod to the 1970s idea to put the library in an RV and drive it around to schools. They may or may not still have that. I don't really know. Indirect competitor emulation simply says, what are things that my indirect competitors are doing that my customers like? To understand that, you have to understand the difference between a direct and an indirect competitor. And the easiest example is in the weight loss industry. If you are, let's say, a health club, you have a gym, that is one way that people could lose weight, is selling a gym membership. Your direct competitors would be other gyms in the area. Those are your direct competitors. Your indirect competitors are the ones that allow people to get a similar or the same result, i.e. losing weight, but using a different methodology, which could be yoga, or it could be Pilates, or it could be health food, or it could be running gear, or it could be videos, or anything that helps people to lose weight is your indirect competitor. So what we do is we analyze our indirect competitors. We find out what it is that people like about that and what it is that's taking sales away from us potentially, and we apply that to our business. That's indirect competitor emulation. The real deal is asking the question, what is it that customers really want when doing business with you? The best example is the floral industry. People don't really care about flowers. They care about romance. Now, there's other reasons for flowers, weddings, funerals, etc. But let's just talk about the main thing that the flower shops are doing is they're giving flowers for romance situations, okay? And if you understand as a floral shop that you're in the romance business, not in the flower business, then it completely changes the way that you look at your business and the things that you do. And we won't go into detail on that, but just trying to give you an overview of these strategies. Two birds, is there an ability for you to help customers accomplish two or more things while they're doing business with you? This is the haircut place that changes your oil while you're getting your haircut. Might as well get that done while you're sitting there waiting, doing nothing. Okay? The Pulaski No Punt, this is a difficult one. The Pulaski No Punt is the idea is that you do something that is crazy, different, so far outside of the box that your competitors will think you are insane, and your customers might even think you're a little bit insane, but you've grounded your decision and your methodology in cold, hard facts and data, and you've made an analysis, okay? And the Pulaski No Punt is a nod to the Pulaski Academy in Little Rock, Arkansas, that famously decided to never punt the football, no matter what the down was, no matter what the situation, field position, score, etc. They decided we'll never punt the ball, and it completely changed the way that the game worked. both on offense for them and defense for their competitors. They ended up winning the state championship. It's called the Pulaski No Punt. What we're looking for is things that are unique and very outside of the box. Again, it's a little bit harder to go through that one without giving several examples. Free lunch, this is simply asking the question, what could we give away for free that would stimulate sales and or loyalty and would still allow us to maintain our margins and make money, okay? It's not simply giving stuff away for free. I mean, it is giving stuff away for free, but it's strategically giving things away for free. Okay, guaranteed greatness is applying guarantees to what you offer. And I'll give you a good example. One good guarantee that I like in the home improvement industry is the glass breakage warranty, glass breakage. So no matter what, if your window is broken, we will come out and we will replace it for free for a period of 5 years or 10 years or for the life of the window, whatever time frame you want to apply to it. It's a warranty that people can understand. They can mentally grab hold of it, but the likelihood of you having to fulfill on it is very low because the majority of windows just never break, right? But it has high perceived value. Guarantee greatness. Grand Theft Auto, this is stealing ideas from other industries or other competitors. Just simply going out and looking at other industries or other competitors and saying, what is it that people are doing, companies are doing that we could take in, literally just lift those concepts or ideas. Quality counts, this is looking for things in the neighborhood of quality that you could do different or better. Pimp My Ride is taking things that are mundane and typical and ordinary and making them bigger, brighter, more colorful, more interesting. Easy examples of this would be Apple Computer making the iMac back several years ago in different colors, or Nike taking shoes and making them very interesting in colors. Callaway made the Big Bertha golf club. They took a typical thing, a golf club, and they made it bigger and cooler and put a cool name on it like Big Bertha, and people suddenly started wanting it like crazy. Pimp My Ride. Speedy Gonzalez doing things fast, quick, could be an innovation. Fun Guy, being fun, having fun in your business. This is where Southwest Airlines excels, is being fun. But I could list multiple companies I know that excel in having fun and being known for having fun. Captain Obvious, this is called making it so obvious that you have a position in the marketplace that it becomes beyond question. In other words, piling on so many things that you do in a given area that people look at you and say, my gosh, it's absolutely obvious. So the example I like to use for that is the community-friendly, family-friendly, community-oriented bank. Okay, and we look at that and we say, okay, if we are the community-centered bank, what kinds of things would we do? Could we make it totally obvious that we are a community-centered bank? And then you say, okay, well, what would make it obvious? And then we start trying to pile up ideas, like we give free football tickets for the local high school football team. During the 4th of July, we give out flags. And see, we're cross-pollinating ideas here because there's some free lunch, right? These are some free things we do. Maybe we could give out the use of our bank conference room for different organizations because we're community friendly. And you get the idea. We start stacking these ideas up on top of each other to where people look at it and go, oh my gosh, obviously these people care about their community. Okay, home of the blank, positioning your company as the home of the something. You are the home of the 72-ounce steak. If you can eat it in an hour, it's free. Whatever it is, okay? We'll go through some examples of that. Inside Out, this is looking at things that you do well already and then promoting them in a more conspicuous way. Pampered Chef, this has to do with pampering your customers, doing things for them that they would enjoy from a pampered standpoint. And then Small Stuff is simply doing little teeny things right that add up to kind of a big deal, okay? Again, I don't want to go into a ton of detail on all these. We don't have time, but this is just setting the stage for rapid-fire innovation. Let's get into the first strategy, which is loan brokers. So the first thing that we could do for loan brokers, full disclosure of fees, what they mean, why they are as much as they are, which fees are phony. Now, I want to show you something on this. And to do this, I got to pull something up here on my screen. Let me do this real quick. Okay, over here. I had this up earlier, and then I closed it. My apologies. But I know exactly where it is. I just got to get to it. Guaranteed results. Leader one mortgage. Okay. All right, this is a report that we put together. I don't have the design version for some reason. It was an outside design firm that did it, and I don't happen to have it handy. Doesn't matter. It's a 12-page report called No More Fake Fees. Page 1, the average mortgage has over $10,000 of unnecessary fees included. Protecting yourself is as easy as reading this report. And then it talks about the person that owns this company. When I started working in this industry as a broker, almost all my business was done by word of mouth and between friends. I usually dealing directly with my friends or at least a friend of a friend. As a result, I always made an effort to charge as little as possible. If a credit report cost me $16.57, then I charge my customer $16.57. If an appraisal was $250, my customer paid $250. I never even considered marking these things up. See, we're setting the stage here for why they don't charge fees. As a result, I always carefully explain to my customers that I make my money with a small service fee called the origination fee, see page 2, plus any monies the bank paid as a commission for the loan. And truthfully, I made a very nice living doing business this way. My customers were respected, and they respected me by referring lots of their friends and relatives to me. After a while, I started seeing many repeat customers. Meanwhile, I watched the mortgage industry begin to really pump up their fees for no apparent reason other than to make more money. They charge $400 for the $250 appraisal. They charge $50 for the $17 credit report. And worst of all, they charge points and claim to be buying down the interest rate when I knew full well the new lower rate was the original rate offered by the bank in the first place. These fake fees usually added up to over $10,000. And then they go on to explain. Here's what the fees are. Here's how much others charge. Here's how much it should cost. We've got the origination fee. We've got the credit report. I think it's a little bit bigger on the screen. I said a little bit bigger on the screen. Underwriting should be, normally it's $500. It should be $375. Processing, it's usually $5 to $7. It should be $300. Appraisals, usually $500. It should be $300. Page 3, application, they charge $350 to $500. It shouldn't be 0. Points, it's $3,000 to $10,000. It should be 0. Mortgage fee is $3,000 to $10,000. It should be 0. Closing is $500. It should be 0. Funding review is $500. Okay, this is the cost they charge to review your loan. Do you really even need to say anything more about it at this point? Total of all fake fees. Okay, and then we go into comparison. So I'm showing you a way to execute this. So a full disclosure of fees, what they mean, why they are as much as they are, why fees are phony. Now, most companies won't want to do this because they charge the fees. But if you stake a position, home of the no fee loan or the low fee phone or the no fake fee loan, then you can still charge fees, but just not fake fees. Okay, and you've just got to explain this to people. Now, you might look at this and say, well, this is kind of just an educational report. Well, yeah, but it's an innovation strategy. Okay, how about this? Easy to read report, helping me understand all the parts of buying a home, appraisals, titles, etc., and we can find those in this report. Okay, good faith estimates and comparisons. Listen to what our customers are saying. Those are testimonials. Glossary of mortgage terms, frequently asked questions. And then we talk about some of those fees. So we can educate them on those things. Guaranteed turnaround times. This is always an issue when it comes to getting a loan finished, is the turnaround times. It's very close timing frequently, and if it's not, if they don't guarantee those times, it can be very stressful trying to wonder if you're going to get everything done within the allotted time frame. So if you could guarantee those turnaround times. Loyalty and referral reward programs. This becomes a huge part of a mortgage company. Think about how much money is involved in the mortgage industry, whether or not you have fake fees. We could have that discussion separately. But even if you don't have fake fees, it's still very profitable industry. Well, how often do people move? And statistics say that people move about every 7 years. So if you start working towards your second and third and fourth loan with the same customer, then you've got the ability to really build a substantial business moving forward, also getting the rewards. Now, think about this. This is a concept that we covered on Tuesday morning ad clinic. We were talking about referrals, and I said the first thing you've got to do to get referrals is what? Does anybody remember? Well, the first thing you've got to do to get referrals is have a strong identity. A strong identity, because here's what that means. If you have a strong identity and your customers know exactly who you are, exactly why they're doing business with you, then confirmation bias starts to kick in, and they start to notice all the things that you do, even though they're the same things that you used to do before you started pointing them out and mentioning them to people. And now you become much more bright. I don't know if that's the proper way to say this, but you become brighter in their consciousness, so that when the topic, in this case, of loans and new homes and mortgages comes up, people will be a lot more likely to refer you, because you weren't just another company that they did business with in the course of their life to get stuff done, because everybody always buys stuff to get stuff done to get through their life, right? But you don't always notice or pay attention or like or have a soft spot in your heart for all those companies. But when you've got an identity, that starts to change. So that starts to change. In this situation, I'm recommending the position of being the no fake fee. Now, when your friend says, hey, I'm going to get my, I'm going to move and I need to get a mortgage, you say, hey, you need to call my friend. They have no fake fees. And then you can get the reports in their hands, et cetera, okay? Loyalty referral rewards programs. If you started to then give some sort of reward for referrals, again, look at how much money is involved and look at how much money you could afford to give them for the referrals, and just make it a little bit nicer for them. I mean, could you afford to give a $250 gift to somebody for referring a mortgage? And the answer is, yeah, you could. Free home furnishings with purchase. Now we get into some legal issues here. What can you legally give your customers versus what you can't? And I'm not going to get into the legalities, but I think it would be interesting to find ways to bonus your customers by giving them something of value that they would look at and say, wow, that's really cool. Maybe you could create a fake fee to help cover that cost. Okay, let's move on to the second one, which is management consultant. First thing I would do is put together a Cliff Notes publication of the philosophy of the management. So in other words, if you are a management consultant, you need to educate your prospective clients as to what your philosophy of management consulting is, so that they understand it, so that they can look at it, so that they can either agree with it or disagree with it. And if, of course, if they disagree with it, they probably won't want to do business with you. But you want to put this in their hands. Cliff Notes simply means an abbreviated version. It could be a 12-page report. It could be a 40-minute audio presentation. It could be a video. For business people, my experience is written things, printed things, and or audio things tend to work better than video things. But put that together. Let people know exactly what it is that you do, how you do it, why you do things the way you do. Not just that you do it, not just that you're good, not just that you have success, not just that you have clients that like you, but what do you do? How do you do it? Why do you do it? It's the pulling back the curtain and revealing Oz and saying, here's who we are, and this is why we do things, okay? It's opening the kimono, so to speak. Joint venture with other business professionals, sales, marketing, finance, other types of businesses that have the same customers as you, and seeing if you can either tap into their existing customer base through an endorsement, or maybe you could do joint marketing efforts to get people to be exposed to your products and services. So for instance, maybe if you were a management consultant, you could put together a seminar with companies in the area of sales or marketing or finance or more than one of the above, drive people into a room, give them seminars, or it could just be done via email or webinars. In other words, the idea here is to get together with other companies, exploit ethically, of course, each other's customer list for referrals and endorsements, and potentially do joint marketing together where you jointly foot the bill for marketing efforts that could benefit all of you, okay? Monthly mailings to clients with business information. This gets into the idea of becoming an information dispenser, Now, if your company is in the business of dispensing information, then you might also want to be engaged in social media, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, Twitter, probably Facebook, where you can actually push information to your prospects and customers. But certainly mailings on a monthly basis, quarterly basis with information. What kind of information? Well, anything that's relevant to their business. It could be sales, marketing, finance. It could be management consulting, but get this information in their hands. Next, fees based on results. Now, this is from the innovation principle, guaranteed greatness, where you say, look, we will charge you a fee based on the results of the project. This is a little bit hard to it's hard to manage sometimes, but it could be very, very profitable. We've done this in the past in our marketing practice. Now, we don't normally do this anymore, but because the things that we're focusing on, typically working with smaller businesses and home improvement and doing very specific things for them, doesn't lend itself as well to this. But in the past, we've done this frequently, where we go to a client, particularly a growing company that has a lot of upside, and we say, look, we'll put together your marketing, we'll execute it for you, and all we want is a percentage of the sales. In 1998 and 1999, going back a few years, made a ton of money working with a client. We grew their business from $4 million in sales to $29 million in sales in about 18 months, and participated in the profitability of that, and it was extraordinarily lucrative. It can be done. Personality-based consultant matching, making sure that in a consulting environment you match up the right person, especially in an environment where a consultant is going to be working very closely with the client for a long period of time, making sure that you do that. Now, what you have the ability to do is go into, in the marketing phase of trying to find new customers, and you can say, look, we're going to make sure that the people that work with your company are personality tested and matched so that they're a good fit with your people. And that's something that most people aren't saying. All right, let's go to the pet store. And this is a little bit interesting because I had a pet store owner on, actually not a pet store, a pet food store owner on the Tuesday Morning Ad Clinic, James from Canada, Global Pet Foods. And it's funny because I had put this together several months ago, and he actually does all the things that we're talking about right here on this slide. So the first one was actual experts on staff to help make decisions. Decisions about what? Well, in his case, about foods. And we actually coined the slogan for him, our expertise is always free. Now, that can also be promoted by putting together information, educational information that can be published through websites or reports, things that people can pick up in the store. If you remember that conversation on the Tuesday Morning Ad Clinic, we were talking about, we've got 57 different dog foods, 38 different cat foods, and we'll help you find the exact one that'll be most appropriate for your pet, help them overcome any kinds of issues they may be having with their food, help you identify what symptoms develop as a result of intolerance for foods, and just take an actual expert position. Not just, hey, we have a lot of foods, but hey, we have a lot of foods and we have the expertise to help you find the right one. So I think that's a huge issue. Now, this can be put together for lots of different kinds of companies. I mean, we're talking about a pet store, but the idea here is not, hey, it's a pet store. The idea here is let's talk about different ideas that you can pull into your business. Actual experts on staff to help make decisions. Do you have experts on your staff that can help people make decisions? I remember working with a handyman company one time. We said, why don't you create a handyman hotline where people can call and just ask you questions about anything? So the guy's working on his garbage disposal and he runs into a problem, and instead of trying to look it up on the stupid internet and find a video on YouTube to try to help him figure it out, he just calls you. You say, well, I don't want to help that guy fix his garbage disposal. Why not? Guess how many times he's going to be in such a jam that he's going to have you come out and do it. Experts on staff to help make decisions. There's a strategy there called Hotline, and we've used this for lots of different clients. Putting together a hotline. Call us for any kind of a expert opinion or advice on topics that are relevant to whatever it is you sell. Okay. Experts on call anytime to help. Again, there's the hotline idea. Delivery of regularly used supplies. You know, a lot of the supplies are very, very repetitively ordered, and I drew this conclusion several years ago. Now, I've got 6 kids, so we've had every pet you can imagine. Most of them have died because that's the nature of pets, especially the little ones, the frogs, the mice, and all those kinds of things. They don't last that long. But one of the things we had for a while was some, I think it was some frogs, and these things needed to eat crickets. And man, it seemed like every 3 seconds we were running over to the stupid pet store to find these crickets. And it was just a mammoth pain in the butt. And I thought, why can't these guys deliver it? You know, if half the crickets die, who cares? Just send twice as many as I need. They're not that expensive, but I don't want to run down there to get this. Don't they have a guy that they could put on a route that could deliver them? Maybe. I don't know. Pet food, same thing. How often do you need pet food? We're going to deliver a 40-pound bag to your home every, you know, whatever, every 6 weeks, every 3 weeks, depending on how many dogs or how big the dogs are, depending on what kinds of needs you have, and so forth. Fewer choices, only the highest recommended products in stock. This is an interesting innovation formula to lower the number of choices instead of raising the number of choices. Imagine this. Imagine if you went to the grocery store and instead of having 17 kinds of peanut butter and 42 cereals, they just picked the ones that were the best sellers or the most popular, and they limited everything else. And you might say, well, I don't know, I like weird cereals or I like weird ketchups or whatever. But I'm talking about situations where people have a lot less familiarity with the products. The treadmill store, the siding company or roofing company, the pet food company. Maybe instead of having 57 different dog foods, you have 11 dog foods. Out of the 400 available, we've chosen 11 because they're the best. And we make the choices for our customers with the understanding that they don't really know. There's not really any way for them to find out what the best is. We become an aggregator of best practices. So this is an interesting concept. I think has wide application to lots and lots of different kinds of businesses. Fewer choices, not more choices. And the idea here is not just that, hey, we're arbitrarily limiting choice, or we're cheap so we don't want to stock stuff. The idea here is we've done the research, we know what's best, and we've eliminated everything that's not the best. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily just be highest quality. It has to be more like within different ranges. So maybe you walk into the TV store, and instead of having, you know, how many TVs does Best Buy have? Maybe they have in different sizes, they have different price ranges, and they say, look, here's the 2 in this price range, here's the 2 in this price range, and here's the 2 in this price range. We've studied them out. These are the best. And you make it authentic. You explain to people why it's the best, why you don't carry the ones you carry. And the argument against that is, well, you know, people come in and they want the one that they want. But you know what? I think you would have a very strong case to say we only carry the best brands and the best models. They change all the time. We're not loyal to any manufacturer because we are only loyal to what's the best. And if a given manufacturer always has the best, then sure, we're loyal to that, but only as long as they remain the best. And you analyze it, and you give people a reason to believe that you've actually analyzed it and show them the data. They may or may not want to look at it. They may be comforted just knowing you have it, but you promote it that way, and people say, wow, this is where I want to buy. I don't want to look at a bunch of garbage that I don't want to buy. I don't want to have to filter through 75 different models to find the 5 that might be a good fit and the 1 out of those 5 that I actually need, see? So fewer choices recommended in stock. For the pet store, they could create a zoo atmosphere that children would want to go to. Change it up, promote it regularly through email, through social media. Hey, we've got a guest, you know, whatever animal, and maybe they could bring in some special or exotic animals on a weekly basis that people could come in and look at. Hey, this week we've got in a king cobra. You know, it's behind 4-inch plate glass. You know, do not get near. Next week we've got a certain kind of parrot. The week after that we bring in, you know, whatever, a baby zebra. I don't know what's legal or what you can get your hands on, but something that would make people want to come in. and get them used to walking through your store and get them used to buying stuff from you, okay? Creating a fun, this is fun guy, right? This is the concept we talked about earlier, being fun. It would be a lot more fun to have a zoo atmosphere than to just have not a zoo atmosphere, okay? Some special animals. So could you do something like that? Create something fun, something interesting, something that would make people want to come in. Let's go back to the electronics store, the TV store. What could they do? What could they have that would cause people to want to come in and check it out, even if they didn't really need to buy anything at that particular time? Well, why would I want people that don't need to buy anything coming to my store? Well, because number one, some of them will buy something anyway. Number two, you just want them to get in the habit of going to your store. So anyway, think about that, okay? Let's go to the plumber. Now, here's the interesting thing about the plumber. I have a client right now that does all of the stuff that we're about to talk about. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, pull this up, and I'm going to show you some radio ads that go along with some of these points because they're very interesting, to me at least. I'm kind of a marketing nerd. All right. First of all, emergency rush service for loyal customers at no extra charge. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be for loyal customers, for any customers, but surely for loyal customers. So let's see what this would look like. Let's see. Emergency rush service. Here's the radio ad. I will change the name to let's see, we'll call it Acme Services, okay? At Acme Services, when we hire a new plumber, the very first thing we ask him before we even look at his credentials is, how do you feel about working nights and weekends? Because you know what? If a guy won't work odd hours, he's not a good fit for us. We'll tell him to go work for a 9-to-5 plumber. The fact is, almost 50% of plumbing problems occur outside of regular business hours when people are actually at home. So instead of forcing our 250,000 customers to rearrange their schedule so it's convenient for us, we simply rearrange the schedules of our 57 plumbers so they are available when it's good for you. There's no extra charge. There's no such thing as after hours. Call as late as 11 p.m. and we'll answer the phone with a live person who will help you out. It's just one more way we respect our customers at Acme Services. Call us right now. Here's an offer. Here's our phone number, blah, blah, blah. Emergency service. Next, free turbo plunger with each visit. I don't know what a turbo plunger is. I made that up, but we could find something. I'll bet if we went to Google, I bet we could find a cool plunger. We could have it emblazoned in our colors with our names. You know how some people at trade shows give out pencils with their name on it? Well, what about a plunger with your name on it? And after a while, they say, geez, you've come 10 times in the last 5 years. We've got 10 of your plungers. Great. If you don't need them, give them to your friends. Sell them at the garage sale. I don't care. Whatever. Just make sure you use them. Next, guaranteed appointment windows. This is a big one, as you can imagine. Let me give you a radio commercial for this one. Let's see. Here it is. Don't you hate to wait? I know I do. Red lights, I can't stand them. Doctor's office, I'd rather be sick than sit in that waiting room for half an hour. If a restaurant can't seat me in less than 5 minutes, I'm out of there. So when I started Acme Services 25 years ago, I made a vow that I do everything in my power to minimize that intolerable wait that you normally have to endure when you call for a repairman. First of all, we'll schedule your appointment for a time that actually works for you. During the day, after work, weekends, whatever is best for you. Then we'll give you a guaranteed appointment window. And if we miss it by even a minute, then your service call is 100% free. Yeah, free. Because I'm serious about getting rid of the wait. It's just one more way that we respect you as a customer. Guaranteed appointment windows, right? More tools or inventory on the trucks. Well, let's see about that one. Let's see if I can find this one. No, that's not it. Hang on, I'm going to find it. Well, I can't find that one. Oh, here it is. Do you have a drain that's clogged up, or maybe a toilet or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Hey folks, this is Bob Jones from Acme Services, and I want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call. At Acme, we respect your time. If we're not there when we say we'll be there, your service call is 100% free. Not free plus a bunch of fine print, but just plain free. We also guarantee in writing that we'll do the job right the first time. We have 1,172 parts on our truck, so we won't have to order something and then come back again later. Our technicians are background checked and drug tested and trained to do the job right. Call us, blah, blah, blah. So we have 1,172 parts on the truck. All right, next, clean professional technicians wearing booties. All right, let's go to that one. Think about the places where you see adults wearing booties on their feet. I can think of three. First, in hospitals, especially in surgery, where everything has to be absolutely sterile. Second, in those high-tech manufacturing clean rooms, like where they make computer chips or pharmaceuticals. The third place you'll see booties on a grown man, whoops, I said it with the wrong tone. The third place you'll see booties on a grown man, on the feet of every Acme Services repair technician. Yep, all of them wear bright orange booties anytime they set foot into your home. The point is, of course, to keep your home clean, but it's more than just cleanliness. It's about respect. It's the same reason we promise to be on time or your plumbing repair is free. It's why we never play pricing games and why we're available for appointments after hours and weekends when it's convenient for you. Clean professional techs wearing booties. Okay? Cleaner than we found it signs. Cleaner than we found it. All right, let's go. To that one real quick. Hang on, let me find it. All right, should be right here. Okay. When I was a kid, I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid. We'd go camping a lot, and when we'd pack up to leave, our scoutmaster would always remind us, leave it cleaner than you found it. We'd hunt for bottle caps and pull tabs and bread ties, stuff we hadn't put there, but stuff we were willing to find and haul out so it would fulfill our duty to leave it cleaner than we found it. And you know what? That philosophy has stuck with me. At Acme Services, when we come into your home for plumbing repair, I can absolutely guarantee that we're going to leave your home cleaner than we found it. We always wear bright orange booties and protect the work area with a drop cloth. We always wipe everything down and completely clean up any mess caused by the repair. Call us at this phone number, blah, blah, blah. I can flag guarantee we'll leave your home cleaner than we found it. Now, there's a radio ad. Then we could execute that by coming in, making the repair, and leaving a little sign. You know the kind like they put on a dinner table at some kind of a gathering that tells you who's supposed to sit at a certain place? Just a little card that's been printed, and it folds over like a tent, right? It's maybe 4 or 5 inches wide. And then we put we leave that in the repair area. So maybe we're working in the bathroom, and we just leave this little card there. It says, at Acme Services, we always leave it cleaner than we found it. And then they look at it and they go, wow, this really is cleaner than we found it. And confirmation bias kicks in, right? Confirmation bias kicks in, and they say, wow, that really is cleaner than they found it. Pretty cool stuff, okay? It's not rocket science. It's pretty easy stuff to understand. Plumbing insurance. Now, insurance concept. What I mean by insurance is giving people a monthly payment program that allows them to have access to services for a discounted rate, or the amount that you have essentially prepaid goes towards anything in the future. Think about this for air conditioning service. The average air conditioner that goes out might be, you know, who knows, $10,000 to get a new air conditioning system put in. And the problem with that is when you run into the problem and you've got an air conditioning that's gone out, now you suddenly have a $10,000 bill that you've got to pay. Well, what if you could pay, I don't know, $149 a month to the air conditioning company, and for that $149 a month, they would come out, maintain your system, keep it in good operating order a couple times a year, tune-ups, all that kind of stuff. If there's ever any problems, any anything that broke, they would come in and fix it. And if the unit went out, then they would come in and replace it with an efficient unit that would be guaranteed to be, you know, a certain level of quality of unit, because you wouldn't obviously want them to cheese it and give you a cheap one. So run the numbers on that. You give them $149 a month, 149 times 12 months, $1,788 a month. The average unit lasts 12 years. That's $21,000. Probably would only need to be $99, but that's also going to cover them coming out for the tune-ups, any repairs. Let's see if it was $99 a month times 12 months, $1,188 times 12 years, $14,256. If you were the air conditioning company, is that a good deal for you? Yeah, because it's going to cost you significantly less than that with your margins to fix that. What if you were the homeowner? Is that a good deal? Well, yeah, because now for $99 a month, you don't ever have to worry about that thing again as long as you live. If the thing breaks, who cares? If it's got a problem, they'll fix it, right? You see how this works? So this is an interesting thing to explore. We do this with our pets, with the pet store. The veterinarian is a co-tenant with the pet store that we go to, and we pay them a monthly fee, and it gives us certain veterinarian type services for free. It gives us other veterinarian services at a discount, and it just makes things easier to afford. It also makes you more likely to take advantage of their services because you know that you've already paid for it, instead of saying, well, you know, I don't know, we'll bring Fido in later, whatever. So the insurance concept is an interesting one. Okay, let's talk about a quick printer. Access to marketing and design professionals. Now, let me tell you about this. What I'm talking about is as a quick printer saying to your prospective customers, hey, we will do your design for you either at full price or at a discounted price or for free. Now, that's a decision that you as the quick printer would have to make. I would lean towards finding a way to make it free. You become the graphic design part of the operation, and maybe you put stipulations on it. If you average $1,000 a month of printing with us, we will do up to, you know, whatever, 10 hours a month for free, or whatever the situation is, okay? You'll have to work those numbers. We'll do 3 hours a month of graphic design for free. Now, here's what you need to know about graphic design if you're a quick printer. It's not that expensive to hire good graphic designers. It really isn't. You can find some that'll do the job, and they'll do it well, and you can keep them busy. You could probably hire them on a contract basis where they only do work and bill you for the hours. But now you've got people coming to you because you're solving a major problem, because while it's not that hard to and not that expensive to get a graphic designer, who's got time to filter through all that? The small business owner? Not really. How does a small business owner find a good graphic designer? They don't. It's hard. But if you could find it for them and make it available for them for discounted prices or free under certain conditions, that would be pretty darn cool. Education on various kinds of printing and which ones make the most sense for various kinds of projects. Okay, now we're getting into discussion about quick printing, digital printing, offset printing, and helping people understand what kinds of projects work best for what kinds of printing and where to get that kind of printing. I don't want to go into detail on that, but it is an interesting concept. Frequency programs, that maybe includes free design. We mentioned that briefly. A frequency program is not a bad idea for lots and lots of kinds of businesses. Let's keep that in mind. Delivery, we talked about that with the pet store. Free access to computers to work on projects. You know, if people want to work on their projects themselves, they can come over to your store, whatever, okay? Restaurants, high level of attention to cleanliness. Now, I'm not saying, hey, every restaurant has to have a high level of attention to cleanliness. What I'm saying is, think about what you could do if you had a restaurant to really drive business and innovate your company to where it was, you know, well known for that. And I think a high level of attention to cleanliness is not a bad place to start. And you can think of various ways that could happen. But like anything else, you would probably want to let people know this. You can't just have a clean restaurant. You have to tell people you have a clean restaurant. You say, well, it's clean, they'll notice it. No, they won't. People only notice a restaurant being clean when it's not clean. So if you put extra attention to making it clean, you would need to tell people that. Maybe you could have something in the bathroom that says this bathroom sanitized, once every 3 days, head to toe, and hourly with, X, Y, and Z. I don't know. You could figure these kinds of things out. Killer service, never ask for drink refills. Don't ask questions when people's mouth is full. That's a pet peeve of mine. You stick your burger in your mouth, and the guy comes up, hey, how's everything tasting? And you're like, well, I don't know. You want to see? Open your mouth, show them some seafood. I mean, it's ridiculous. Never ask for drink refills. What we're talking about here, this is what I call the Chinese restaurant service. They never ask you if you want a refill at Chinese restaurants. They just fill it because obviously you want your drink full. Why would I not want my drink full? And if you fill it and they don't drink it, who cares? Like they're going to get upset. Hey, why are you filling my drink all the time? Have good service. Some things like filling drinks is a little thing. Remember we talked about small stuff was one of the innovation formulas. This is a small stuff. Non-promoted special, free appetizers every third table, whatever. Things that aren't necessarily are not necessarily published or promoted or known to the people that are participating even. Okay, so they sit down and say, hey, you know what, we're going to give you guys free appetizers tonight. What do you want? And they go, what? Why are you giving us free appetizers? Well, because we like you. And you do it on the down low enough so that not everybody hears it, but you get them in the idea and in the habit of saying, wow, this place is cool. They do stuff. This is called systematizing the element of surprise. Think about that for a minute. Large portions, sweet-looking takeout containers. How much time and effort and money does it cost to have a really cool-looking takeout container instead of just the plastic styrofoam? Again, these are all under the ideas of pimp my ride, taking something mundane and making it look really cool. Small stuff, okay? Restaurants. Creative menu items. I think this is a must for any restaurant. Creative menu item. Now, everything on the menu doesn't have to be creative. You can have typical stuff, but have a few things that are very unique and particular to your restaurant so that people know you're the home of the, whatever. The crawdad meatloaf. That's probably not a good idea, but you get the idea, okay? Creative menu items. So, home of the fun guy, free stuff. We're trying to take these innovation formulas and give you some ideas. So here's hopefully what you've been able to take out of this. We're going to end up here on restaurants. Hopefully you've been able to take out of this an idea of ways you can creatively implement some of these innovation formulas. That's the idea. Remember I said at the beginning of this call, the idea here is to give you ideas and to spark your imagination and find things that you could do for your business, and that's what we've hopefully accomplished. So we're going to wrap it up now. It's about 5 minutes till 11 Central Time. We're going to be back at 11:30 for our Insiders Open Forum. That's your opportunity to ask me any question that you may have. You can submit those questions over to Judy Schaefer, and we'll be back in about a half hour or so. Talk to you later. Bye now.